Right, last night I was just cooking me food. Nice bit of tuna steaks, prawns, you know, the works, sort of been to town on it, and got a screaming run. Went and hit the rod, just playing it. Put up a decent scrap as well, decent fight.
No, I think working as a team, actually, because it's the first time Paul and I have actually fished together, so working as a team I think is quite important.
We've sort of adjusted fairly well as well, haven't we?
Yeah, except for the height differential, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the obvious, isn't it? But
I think I'm going to get Paul a little op-up in future.
We've seen basically a lot of people on the other side not having as many fish, but having a lot bigger stamp of fish, you know, especially with Lee and his 51 he's had, so...
It's quite nice the fact that, I mean, we haven't had the biggest fish, obviously, but the fact, overall weight, you know, we've had, I think it's 265 £, which I think, if we was in another match, we would have won.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's mainly 20s we've been having. So, although we haven't had the biggest fish, we're quite happy that we've had the overall weight.
We've been having constantly as well, haven't we, so it's not...
Yeah,
sort of kept us going, you know. It's not, you're not sitting there for a couple of days at a time thinking, oh, what am I going to do, and just sort of work.
And it's good because we're actually in preparation for the British Carp Champs as well for Free Spirit, so...
As morning broke, it seemed that it was business as usual for Patrice and Simon. They had a fish on that had weeded itself. So it was back in the boat again to try and free it. Getting above the fish and changing the line angle was all that was needed, and after a 5-minute battle, the carp was netted. But how big was it? With just a few hours to go, could there be a late challenge? And also, down the other end of the lake, Pete and Joe had a story to tell.
What did happen in the swim last night?
Mayhem. Absolute mayhem. Yeah, just as it was getting dark, heard a couple of real good ones crash out to the left where I'd put that other rod on that new spot on the plateau. And, yeah, it was all looking really good. Then I heard another one bosh out on my baited area, so I was sitting there rubbing my hands together, the cameraman was there, I said, any minute now, it's going to happen. What happens? I get a bite, here we go, bream, again,
Billy.
That wipes out my other line in the margin. So I had one off the bait, I thought I had Moby Dick on, to be fair.
It got me up, saying, like, I've got a big one, I've got to get the boat.
I didn't want to wake him up because he was being a bit miserable, because he's grumpy and tired and that, so... So I thought I'll get this one in on my own, but it was just pulling so powerfully, I thought, oh, here we go, you know, here comes the hat back. And then it got caught into weed, and it was the first one that had actually done me in any weed. And I managed to get it out of that, and it's gone in another weed bed, so I really did think I had a good fish on. And then it's sort of kited around to the left a bit, and I had to jump in the boat, so I've gone out there. Well, I've left the rod with Pete, and I'm just sort of feeling the line. And I've managed to pull out, and I'm expecting this huge, great lure to come up, you know, and then up comes this... I thought it was a tench at first, I really did. I thought, oh my God, it's a tench, but it wasn't. It was a carp of about, what, £12. Yeah, and then obviously just first light this morning, the other rod, the new rod in the new area, paid off. So
that was a pretty one, wasn't it?
Yeah, £27, biggest one. I mean, we've been quite unlucky for sizes, really, haven't we? Seven fish, biggest fish. 27. Yeah. I mean, I haven't in there, they've had like 3 and 50 and a couple of out of 30s or something. So really, when we were thinking about moving, weren't we? And then we had 5 fish that night, so it just seemed, you know,
crazy
no one would move, would they?
No.
But in hindsight, I think we could have caught a few more if we would have moved up there. Yeah. But, you know...
All joking about what Joe said, like with the partner and stuff like that, I've really enjoyed fishing with Joe. His work's really hard, really accurate fishing. It's not my style of carp fishing, like 2 rods on the same spot, clipped up, and, you know, you'd constantly putting bags out. If he had a 2-inch drop back, you know, the rod wouldn't stay there, you'd reel it in, wouldn't you, put it back out. All night I could just hear the rod going backwards and forwards. My tactic was a bit more, I'd had enough of the bream, big 18 miller on there and chuck it out, and, you know, if a carp come along, then brilliant, you know, just to get some sleep and stuff. But no, good. Yeah. Had a good time fishing.
Yeah, enjoyed it, mate.
For me, before we came to this lake, it was always going to be a challenging lake anyway. The nature of the fishing is different anyway. It's not your average, you know, commercial type lake where you turn up and everything's done from the bank and it's relatively easy. and relatively easy to find the fish, if not catch them. This is quite a challenge, this place, but that makes it very interesting to fish. It's a step up from a lot of places. Some of the things you have to deal with, not least of which obviously the elements we've had this week, which we've had everything, the boat work, and particularly because of the nature of the weed in here, there's a lot of dead weed at the moment, which is very heavy on the bottom. You know, going out in the boat and going through all the process of getting that fish out, which eventually I did land after some hours, was well worth learning for the future. It's added another string to the bow. So.
Everyone had enjoyed their time at Three Eels, and the quality of the stock caught surely matched or bettered the majority of waters in Europe. Trouble was, for at least one pair, last night it was the wrong species.
One word, bream.
It wasn't at first, but then the bream, we was warned about the bream moving in once they found the bait, and for sure they did, didn't they?
Yeah, like I say, they've been plagued by them.
And since when the bream moved on one of the marks where we had the fish from, not another carp was to be seen from that mark.
We tried other spots as well last night, but nothing. It's been enjoyable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been good.
It's carp fishing, isn't it?
New venue, finding out new things.
Caught a few fish. So.
About the lake and about each other.
Both had a nice big common each.
Yeah.
Still early in the year.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's been very cold and the conditions weren't great, so yeah, no, we could have quite easily come away from here and not caught nothing.
Yeah, I like to fish it in the summer when they're really having it. That water's really cold still, really cold. In the summer, I imagine it, or October time.
Yeah, another good time would be October.
October time when they're really sort of eating again. But yeah, weed's not been a problem. It's
very good company, had a laugh as well. It's been good. Yeah.
Shame about the cameraman and the dictator. Really.
Yeah.
It seemed too that Mark and Miles' hard work had paid off in the end, albeit being tinged with a high degree of frustration.
Fish have been showing at longer range, so all week. We're hoping that keeping our rods closer in, they might move on to us. By the last night they hadn't, so we decided, right, we're going to put 2 rods long. And we had a good take on one of them. Fish didn't get weeded up, our rigs worked, dropped the lead nicely, using quite big gripper leads, and lead came off no problem. Got it in, good fight, really nice fish, and got it in the net. But it's blown an absolute hoolie, and I don't know, somehow the fish managed to power its way out over the cord, and so we lost the fish, which is absolutely gutting because we haven't had too many out of this swim, and we could have really done that one. But
we felt, and I think Rob and Lee thought the same as well, that area out there, the longer range things were prime, but we felt as though we were told to fish short range. I mean, Miles was out there yesterday constantly working. I think Lee had said he'd seen a fish, hadn't he? So he was in the boat and he was running around like a madman, so he's going to have some big old shoulders on him when he gets home. But you've got to keep working, and as it's in the end, it proved the point. You keep working, you catch a fish out of it. So it's.
Yeah, I think staying in touch with all the other anglers on the lake, you know, because we're all part of the Free Spirit team, we all know each other, which, you know, possibly makes things a bit easier. But we're on the radios, or we're going to go for a walk around, we chat with each other. You know, Double Tiger Nut seems to have caught an awful lot of fish this week, either balanced with a bit of corn or a bit of cork inside. Different guys do it differently. And if you're coming here on holiday, don't ignore going and talking with the other guys. We all wanted to help each other, and we've all enjoyed each other catching fish and pleased for each other. So yeah, you know, just keep working it, and you know, I still haven't given up. My rods are still out there, and there's every chance one of them's going to rattle off in a minute. So knowing what I know now, I know I'll probably do a few things differently, and so I've eliminated a whole load of things that I don't think will work. And when I come back, you know, I'm sure I'll be more on the ball, and there's certain areas of this lake I'd love to have a really good go at, that, you know, we've had a look at on this trip, and I think if we come back, I've got some pretty good ideas. So
I've got one peg in mind for me.
Oh yeah,
that's that one directly opposite over there.
If you get it, if you get it before me.
Before the match and the event as a whole drew to a close, there was just time for one more highlight, and it came from the swim of Lee and Gary with yet another sizable carp.
No, when you was filming across the side there, I was watching you and I got a bite, and the fish was on the same rod that I had the mirror from yesterday, and but this time this one just powered off, and I could, you know, I was trying to get it under control, kept on going. But it ended up weeding itself. So I come round for the boat, got Lee to hold the rod, come round, he passed it to me. So eventually then I got on top of it, it come out, wonderful. I thought I was safe then. But then it powered down again, such a strong fish, it powered down again, buried in another weed bed, and I had to do the same thing again. Fortunately, landed it this time, and got it to the bank. Well, personal best is 38.
Close on 40, that. I reckon that might be a personal best common for you, gal.
Well, yeah, I'll do it on there, you're going to have to lift it so high.
39, 12.
Cool, nice one.
And the new PB common.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've both had a right result this week. Both had personal best commons.
Yeah, the previous was 38. That's beaten it by just over a pound. But beautiful colour fish, aren't they? Lovely fish.
Yeah, I think all in all, we've had I haven't had no more action, no more carp action, but as I said, when I had 51 pound, that'd do me for the week. Weren't too bothered if I didn't catch any more. But
the weather's been against us, isn't it? We've been unlucky with the weather, the whole lake.
Superb venue. I mean, a real good stamp of fish that have come out, haven't they? You know, it's and I reckon in a few years' time, judging by the size of the other species in here, I reckon it's going to be sort of phenomenal
monsters,
water. Yeah, it's going to be
monsters. Well, there's monsters in here now.
Quite a few 60-pounders, I would think.
Yeah. I had trouble landing it. But no, I think the approach we've done, we put a little amount of bait in to start with, and that's the way when we fish together, that's the way you go. Because once you put it in, you can't take it back out.
In reflection, I think it was,
your side of the swim's gone quiet, hasn't
it?
Yeah, since the last couple of days, which is a bit strange. Right, and then mine's livened up. Can't work that one out.
So I perhaps would have baited up another couple of spots and tried that, but but as I say, I'm happy with the £50 out.
So a PB for both Lee and Gary, a fitting way to end. Midday arrived and the anglers reeled in and came together to swap stories of the past few days. A celebratory barbecue provided the backdrop for them all to relax at the end of what had been a great few days fishing. Everyone had caught, when it was fair to say that earlier in the week there was a certain degree of nervousness about the outcome. All that was left to do was to present the trophy.
In sixth place on peg 3 was Pete Castle and Joe Morgan with 7 fish, with the biggest 27 pounds. In 5th place on peg 8 was Paul Goodchild and George Barrett with 11 fish, best fish 30 pounds 4 ounces. In 4th place, peg 18, was Mark Hutchinson and Miles Gascoigne, 2 fish, 38.06, biggest fish. 3rd place, peg 19, Rob Marsh and Lee Merritt, 4 fish with the best fish of 42.05. And in 2nd place was Simon Bond and Patrice Fast, 8 fish, best fish 43 pounds. And I'd like to make my congratulations to Lee Jackson and Gary Pete with 3 fish with the best fish of 51.07, which was a common. So congratulations, guys. I'd like to come over. Hey.
It's a bit heavier than 51 pounds. No, we'd just really like to say I can't hold it up for the camera anymore. Yeah, the weather's been against us this week, but I think we've all sort of knuckled down and got on with it, and I think everyone's caught a fish, which is the main thing, and full credit to Patrice. The fish are actually stunning fish, and the average weight is quite good as well. So in a few years' time, this place is going to be something else.